Girl, you the best, and she love me when I'm in it, and she never be pretending, nothing is real. She gon' tell you what she bought it, cause she know you can't afford it. Know you can get it, looking exquisite. No.
Hello. I don't know what happened there. I guess I double clicked too many times. Well, welcome. Thank you for watching the eSpot today. Go ahead and share, like, make sure your friends know because we're getting ready to talk to Buí. See, it's not Buí. It's Buí. I didn't get the last name. Baldvinson. You see, this is going to be in all my little bloopers because I got the first name because he said Bowie like David Bowie, and then I forgot to get the last name. But anyway, I'm going to have the creator, the founder, the producer, the filmmaker from Hero Ice Productions, Buí Baldvinson. I'll let him correct his name pronunciation because I totally butchered it. And I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh. Totally forgot to get the last name.
You were very, very close.
Oh, okay. So how do I pronounce it?
It's in Icelandic. It will be Buí Baldvinson.
Buí Baldvinson.
Yeah.
I was very close.
You're very, very close. Yeah. I'm very proud of you.
Yay! My first line for the day that I got correct. No, not really.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get right into it. How did you get into filmmaking?
Oh my God. It was from my father was actually, he used to work at the national TV station when I was a kid. So I was raised up from around when I was born to maybe 8 years old. I was running in the hallways at the local TV station called The Roof. So I was raised with that. And then it wasn't until maybe 99, I started going to the Icelandic Film School just to get something, some kind of a acknowledgement that I've learned something for the film industry. So I went to the school and I didn't finish. I was there for maybe 3 months and then I started teaching. It was very fun because it was a very small school.
You were there for 3 months and then you started teaching?
In a way, it was a very tiny school. It was just recently started, so it was And after that, I started working at the local TV stations called Skjáret, which is now no more, unfortunately. And then slowly just started doing all kind of work for the production companies, doing everything from getting coffee, PAing, and then worked my way up. I did lights, I did grips, I did camera, I did production, directing. That's basically how I have no idea why, but I was kind of compelled to do something in that era. Yeah.
Now, when you told your father that you were interested in working in the film industry, did he give you any advice or did he give you any warnings?
No, he was very happy. The only warning that all of the freelancers need to hear is take care of your taxes. That's the crucial thing, because when you're a young filmmaker or doing whatever you do in freelance work, you start to work and then suddenly you are charging VAT and then you have extra money that you tend to spend without putting aside and paying the tax back. It can actually get you in big trouble. And I did my part, but I fixed everything and it took time, but I'm in a very good shape today.
No, I think that's something that everybody should learn from, because I remember they say like save 30% of what you make or something to that. I don't, maybe different in Iceland, but save 30% of what you make for taxes.
Yeah, you should always keep it aside, no matter what. No matter if you can't even buy noodle soup, just keep that money and borrow money from someone else.
Yeah. Because I'm assuming in Iceland, they're much like America. You can go to prison for tax evasion very easily.
Yeah, the same thing is in Iceland. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, so you've worked several different jobs as a within the film industry.
Yeah.
What would you say was one of those jobs that you really learned a lot from, that helped you to where you are now?
I was the main job that I did for a long time was I was doing it's called to be a video assist. So you take care of getting the feed from the camera to the director, to the director's monitor, and the clients and everything. So you take care of feeding everybody that needs to see the image, and then you also take care of recording it, and then you have to play back, and then you have to make sure that that everybody that needs to have the feed has the feed. Otherwise, if they don't have the feed, they don't see shit. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
Yeah, it's internet.
Yeah, that's the joy of no FCC. I have no boss over me.
Yeah.
I can say whatever I want. No, I don't know.
Yeah. So in that, it's one of the most unappreciated job on the set, because you are the last one to know where you can actually put up the video village, and especially back in the day when we were shooting film, it was harder. It took longer time to set up everything. Everything was much heavier than it is today. But you were working with every single department. You were very close to the camera. You were close to the director and the producers and all that. So that actually taught me the most, because you got connection to everything. And then slowly you just blended in and you absorbed all of the knowledge. So instead of being just in the lights or being in the wardrobe or makeup, that's your bubble. But when you are basically in the video assist, then you are connected to everyone, because everybody needs to have your feed, actually.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
Video
so
Village is a popular area, or highly
it is a
coveted
popular
spot.
area.
Well,
Yeah.
it used to be. I don't know how this is going to work with all the different changes that are coming.
I think today, I think video assist, they would just have to have more monitors spread all over, so keep people away. Yeah.
Yeah. So, now I would be remiss to not even mention all the wonderful productions you've worked on. You've worked from feature films, commercials, shorts, and so many things in between. What do you think is like your niche? Like, this is what you really enjoy doing and have had the most fun working on?
I think that kind of comes from the name of the company, Hero Production. Is I have a very good friends that work with me in the company. I have Thora, Alfred, and Finny that are my best friends, and the jobs that we like the most are the most challenging jobs, when we're going on the glaciers, where we really have to be like safety people. We basically have to have harnesses, lines, crampons, walking up. The kind of the more danger it is for us to take upon, it gives us the most pleasure, because we know that we can provide safety for the other people that are working for the actors and the director and producers and everybody. So I think these are the productions that we love the most, where it's the more challenging, the better.
Okay, now, so speak a little bit about that. Now, do you have like hobbies in that area as well? Like, because I saw that you also did some underwater. Like, are you into scuba diving? Like, what led you, do you think, to do all these challenging camera work?
I would say, like, in my head, there's nothing that I can't do, or if I can't do it, I always at least try. I decided to go scuba diving many years ago. I learned scuba diving. I went to the advanced scuba, and then one day we needed to have someone operate a camera underwater, and I was producing it. And then I decided I'll do it and just make it. It's going to be very quick shot. We don't need to get all this manpower in, and so I did that. And so I did a couple of underwater shots for music videos, commercials, and and even a feature film for another company. It's true. Yeah.
Wow. Now, just looking back on your resume, what would you say was one of your most challenging jobs that you worked on? Because I've never worked on anything remotely close to some of the images that I've seen on your website, and I just find it so fascinating. I know some of it, the actual actors were on green screen, but somebody really had to do some of that action. So what was, I guess, the more trickier or challenging jobs you had to do?
I think my most, in the feature film, my most challenging job was, I was working as a video assist for a company called True North, which is another production company, very good one. And we were doing Flags of Our Fathers, where Clint Eastwood was directing it. and I was the video assistant, and we had so many things going on. We had tanks, we had explosions, we had bunkers, we had wireless feed to Clint running around. And I think that was one of the most challenging jobs because there were so many things going on. And we had to even hide cameras that we were shooting also. We were doing like a B-roll thing for these inserts we had in those ammo boxes we had with cameras in. So that feature film was maybe one of the most challenge for me at that time. That was shot in the 2006, I think.
Okay.
Or 2005, for when it was shot. But then we did a feature film with Jackie Chan called Kung Fu Yoga a few years ago, and we were shooting on this frozen lake near the one of the glacier called Svinafellsjökull. So we had the whole set, we had the whole crew working on a frozen lake. We had this generator, these big heavy ones that were towed by a pickup. And I actually had to drive down a very slippy road and drive the pickup with the Jenny on top of the ice with an open door, with a harness and a line ready to jump out if the ice would break underneath. So, but
How
it didn't break.
terrifying at the same time.
In a way, I think I'm a bit of an adrenaline junkie.
Okay.
And I also have kind of an ADHD, so that's a very I say it's a good combination.
Yeah.
But everything went smoothly. We got everything on the ice, and even I got to teach Jackie Chan to drift a pickup truck on ice.
Oh, wait. Now, how fun was that? Because he likes to do a lot of his own stunts. I'm wearing this shirt, not realizing we were going to talk about Jackie Chan. But this is one of my favorite shirts from back in the day, and I accidentally got bleach on it. So I was like, ooh, I'm just going to make it look like it was meant that way.
Yeah, of course.
What was it like working with Jackie Chan on frozen ice and getting the opportunity to teach him how to drift on ice?
Working with Jackie was very special. He's very humble. He really treats his crew with respect and everybody around him. He does. He just when we were shooting that, he just came from Netherlands, Amsterdam. He had a surgery, I think appendix. Yeah, I think he had some kind of a surgery that he had there like 5 days before flying to Iceland, and he still had the stitches. So when he was doing his fighting scenes, he was bleeding a bit. He had to stop, but he did all of his stunts himself, even though he had like stitches. He has his own stunt team that has been with him for years and years.
Right.
But he was very polite, very genuine Jackie Chan. I think he's just the way everybody imagined him.
Yeah, I mean, I know there was one time I watched the commentary. I'm one of those nerds that likes to watch commentary sometimes back in the day when you would buy DVDs and it would come a commentary. And I remember there was a part or one of the movies I watched with him where he made a point of saying that he doesn't want to use a stunt person because if he's not willing to do it, then he's not willing to risk somebody else's life to do it or something to that effect. And I was like, but dude, you're over 50 or over 60. You are. And now hearing that he was just out of surgery and still performing his own stunts.
Yeah.
I'm sure his insurance is incredibly high.
Yeah, I think he has his own insurance company.
Oh, well, there you go.
If I would have an insurance company, I don't think I would actually want to insure him just in case.
No. I watched your movies. I'm good. Wow. So is there any tricks to drift? Because I mean, we don't really get that much snow here, but we do get a lot of ice. So now I'm curious, is there a trick to drift? I almost hate to even ask this because then a bunch of teenagers might try it, but whatever.
It's different when you're on completely ice, and it was just playing around just a little bit. It wasn't teaching drifting. It was because no one was allowed to drive this car except me and Alfred.
Okay.
And then suddenly I saw this red car moving on the ice, and it was basically the only car. And I ran to it, and I opened the passenger door, jumped inside, going to scream at someone that was going to move it, and that there was Jackie in the driver's seat, and he looked at me, went like, "Sorry." And I went like, oh no, it's you. Okay, let's drive. And then he looked at me and was like, oh, okay. And then we drove and we did a couple of circles and then that was it.
Oh, how fun. So,
Yeah.
funny story, my mom was a stunt woman, and when I first learned how to drive, that was, I mean, she would take me out into a big parking lot with no one else there and would have me practice doing figure eights and different things just so you could feel what it feels like to be out of control so you would know how to react to it instead
Yeah.
of just
Yeah.
quick reaction. And yeah, I'm not gutsy enough to try that anymore now, but I loved it. It's a lot of fun. So that's why I was like, oh, wait, maybe I'll try this. And probably not. 'Cause now I have to pay for my own insurance as opposed to my parents paying for
Mm.
it.
Yeah. That's a different ballpark.
Yeah. So, any other great stories you can share about some of the different productions you've worked on? Because you've worked with Anthony Hopkins, Russell Crowe, Jennifer Connelly, Ben Stiller. The list goes on
Oh
and
yeah.
on.
It was Secret Life of Walter Mitty. That
Right.
was with Ben Stiller. We did a trip. It was almost everything was shot in Iceland, and I was working as a video assist for another company. But to be able to travel everywhere around Iceland, even though I'm from here, and we travel and we go to these places again and again, this film was shot almost everywhere in Iceland. We had so many places where we went to. We had amazing weather, and we had huge storm for a couple of days. But I was very that film didn't go as far as Ben wanted it to go. It was a very good film, and I really recommend it. And
Yes.
many people bought their tickets to Iceland when they saw that film, because you have that beautiful landscape. That film was so much about the landscape all the time, and yeah, I think that amongst many other features and commercials that I worked on, but to be able to travel and see the country, that's a privilege.
Yeah, I know that sometimes when you live somewhere, you take for granted all the different things that are there. And then when you see it kind of in a tourist eyes, or in this case, with traveling around with a
Yeah,
film, you really kind of fall in love with where you live and realize, oh, wait, this is
yeah,
a cool place. I mean, Iceland, I think from outsiders, we're all kind of fascinated because I remember in history class being taught about how Greenland and Iceland, they switched names to kind of trick people into wanting Greenland over Iceland because Iceland was actually the greener place and Greenland was more of the ice, like the
yeah,
icier place or the colder
yeah.
place or something. And so I was always fascinated about, I want to go there, and then seeing the North Lights and all the different just mystique around Iceland. So I'll definitely have to check that movie out, knowing
Mm,
that it kind of shows for us that haven't been there
yeah.
what Iceland has to
I
offer.
would say I would say the best timing would be to come now,
Okay.
because there are absolutely no tourists in Iceland.
Uh,
There were like 3 weeks ago, the official number of tourists still in Iceland was down to 10.
oh wow.
So we went, me and the guys from the company, we went to a summer cabin last week, just for 2 nights, and then we took a small ride around, and there was nobody. We went to this waterfall, one of the biggest waterfalls in Iceland, and usually it's packed. It has maybe 10 buses. It's packed with tourists all the way down to the waterfall itself. And we walked there, and there was not a single car on the parking lot. We were the only people there. We were just
Wow.
5 people walking to the waterfall. We took pictures and went like, "Oh my God, I've never seen it empty." And even the same thing at the geyser. There was nobody there.
Mm.
And to be able to see Iceland finally again without tourists, it's, even though tourists are good,
Yeah.
but this gives Iceland a little bit of time to heal because of all that traffic of tourism everywhere. It's tramping on the soil, it's like tearing up everything. So it's very good for planet Earth, Iceland, all the countries that are taking a break from the tourism.
Mhm.
It is very good.
Yeah.
It gives the planet a little bit of time to heal.
Yeah. Now, looking forward, since we're talking about healing the planet and just everything being so empty, Iceland just recently opened back up to filming. What are
Yeah.
some of the changes that you've noticed that are as far as filming goes going forward that you're going to have to implement, that you're trying to figure out how to navigate around still? Or
I think everybody is thinking about, like, it's all about the safety. And even though when this pandemic is down and gone away, you always have to have that in the back of your head of making sure that things are clean, not too close encounters of the crew, food-wise, sanitary, like everything. That's the number one today, is how you can keep everything very clean, disinfected. And that is one of the biggest challenge. Like, for example, they're shooting a big TV series now at the Reykjavik studios, and they have color-coded places. So you have a badge with yellow, red, or black or blue, allowing you to go into these places, even though it's a set. If it's the makeup, the production office, everybody needs. There can never be too many people at the same time, and also you're not allowed to go between these areas back and forth, because then you might jeopardize yourself and others. So that is the biggest issue of figuring out the best, and also because it's all about the budget. It's the best and the cheapest way, but don't save too much money on it, to make everyone safe.
I mean, this is so different than anything we've ever experienced, because there's so many different. We don't know that much about the virus, first of all.
No.
There's not any proven way to cure it, or to take care of yourselves, or vaccinate or anything. Like, there's no real information yet, or protections that we know for certain can prevent it. So it's a really dangerous time to try to take those, like, I mean, I guess, like, just taking any chances. So it's very important, like you mentioned, like, budget shouldn't be an issue when it comes to safety, because we really don't know, like, as far as how we can, all the different ways that it can be transmitted. I mean, they know through the mucous membranes and so on, but on set, there's so many different things with catering or craft services. Like, people are disinfecting their groceries from the grocery store. So I'm like, well, how does that work at craft services or catering? Or because that's usually like buffet style and stuff.
Yeah, so. and it's also, like we spoke about briefly before this broadcast, is how things will change. But this is something that you should never, like, save money on, is safety. Even though it's today about the COVID, and otherwise safety about people when they're taking chances. We had this one production few years ago where it was for I'm not going to say any names. It was a commercial for a certain army, and they came to Iceland, and they wanted to have this guy swim underneath the ice and, like, come up on the other side, and have underwater cameras going on and all that. And me, Thora, Finney, and Alfred, we all had this strict rule. We needed this many safety divers. We needed safety lines. We wanted to have a medic on set, of course. We actually wanted to have an ambulance on set. As much safety as we could, because you're putting someone under the ice swimming. And if something happens, then God forbid. The production company that we were working for, our client, they tried to ask us to save money on that safety. And they didn't want to have 3 safety divers. They wanted to just skip them, or just no safety line underneath, but that's going to ruin the shot. So we ended up having our minimum thing. We had a very good first aid. We had a very good friend of ours who passed away very shortly after this. And then we had the safety line. And then when the diver went under the water, he had the wrong type of goggles. He was not doing the breathing correctly. He started swimming, and then suddenly he just swam away from everything. He just turned right and went the only way that he was not supposed to go. Oh, no. So our 2 safety divers, they went straight after him. They got him, gave him the oxygen, and they were swimming to the hole of the ice. And as soon as he's going up, he passed out. And we pulled him up, and he was basically flatlining, but our safety got him back, and he was rushed to Reykjavik, went to hospital for checking. He was good to go, and he's safe. But this could have gone extremely bad. if they would have got everything through of saving money on safety. So you can never be too safe.
No, I would agree with that. That's scary.
Yeah.
So, wow. So, what are some of the things that you're thinking that will change as far as even the look of films? Because with all these different precautions, even with filming different love scenes or just
Yeah.
interacting with very closely, like, have you had? I'm sure now since you're in probably like pre-production, or were you in any productions when this happened that shut down that you're going back to? Because I'm
I, I,
wondering how many rewrites they're going to
I
be.
almost don't want to talk about it because April and May, uh, everything that was planned, we have this whiteboard and it was completely full of project that we were going to take upon. And everything just disappeared one by one because these 2 months, April and May, the revenue of the company would have been more than the whole last year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we had so many things going on. We had like 2 feature films, we had photo shoots, we had commercials, a very big, not a very big, but a huge car commercial that was going to come to Iceland, and we were just on the final steps. And then everything started to shut down slowly around the world. And then we got the phone calls and emails saying, like, we have to postpone or we have to cancel. And every time that we looked at the whiteboard and took out one project and after the other one. But hopefully some of these projects are coming back as soon as the rest of the world opens up. Because even though Iceland is opening up for film professionals, athletes, and other like professionals that needs to come to Iceland for jobs, it's also about countries that they will also have to allow people to fly from them to Iceland and then come back. And then even a lot of people, they think of flying to Iceland, not going to quarantine in Iceland for 2 weeks, but they would be tested at the airport. And then within 6 hours, you have the results, do shoots, and then go back home. It's a question of if they want to go home and have to stay in 2 weeks quarantine when they come back. So that's also, but in a way, if you come to Iceland for filming, then you kind of do a quarantine in Iceland because you will be in Iceland, you will be tested, and you might even be tested before leaving Iceland. So you should be able to come back home. But filming, I think creatives like directors and producers and DOPs, they need to rethink the way they shoot and direct people in, like you say, very close encounters, love scenes, actors that have to be very close together, around kids and everything. It's going to change everything about filmmaking, at least for the next years, because it's always going to be in the future of this will be in the back of your head. So yeah, so it's going to take a very long time to go back to the way it used to be, but I don't think it will go all the way it was like 1 year ago.
Right. I think whoever comes up with a new way to make the movies where people can still enjoy them, excuse me. I mean, that's an opportunity just to change and be more creative. And since entertainment industry is so creative and they're good at rigging things and cheating things anyway, that I'm sure they'll find a way that consumers and viewers won't really miss a beat to some extent. But I'm
Yeah.
curious how all of that's going to change what entertainment's going to look like post COVID compared to pre COVID with all of that.
Yeah.
With just,
I think, and then again, it's very much in the editing room how they will edit at the end, like how you can actually cheat, how you can make it work. And
go ahead.
yeah, no, and with all the green screen and whatever we can do, all the magic we can do in the film industry is to make the viewers believe what they're saying.
Yeah, I got a little nervous because CAA, which is a huge agency here in America, they just recently signed a CGI person.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's not real at all. She's got songs out. I keep meaning to look her up because I want to at least be able to say exactly who she is. But she's a CGI actress and they recently signed her. And I'm like, wait, is this where everything's going to go? Yes, Miguela. She's a full CGI actress, just signed with CAA. I don't know how it's pronounced.
CIA. Just say CIA. It's much better.
Yeah, I'm like, she kind of say CIA, so it's But apparently, she's Brazilian American model and musical artist and an influencer with over 1 million Instagram followers, and she's completely computer generated. So I could understand that maybe for extras and so on, and maybe some, but I'm like,
oh my God,
so bizarre. So bizarre.
So actually, the designer is being signed up. The guy on the computer. The yeah.
It's like, do you remember what was it, Milli and Vanilli?
Yeah.
Because there's somebody else singing for her. She's getting the credit, but somebody else is singing for her, or maybe I don't know how it's all worked out, but I'm a little nervous about her.
It was in a time when they brought like Avatar, the film. And all these animated, like mixed animated, even the Lord of the Rings and all that, where you had the puppeteering of the actors and then CGIing a new character over them, and then they even started making feature film that you had fully animated characters, and they looked so real. And it made you think like, oh my God, is this going to change everything? Are we just going to go outside with the camera and do plates just to bring the background?
Yeah.
And then they'll start doing the background and everything will just be computer animated. And but then again, you always need the personal touch. You need the characters. You need everything, which animation doesn't have. So we'll have actors for a very long time, I think.
I hope so. And not just voice actors. Although I love voice actors. You guys are amazing. You're helping me a lot with animated shows that I'm watching. Moving forward.
Yeah.
I'm curious how that's going to work out, especially since, such a big agency like CAA to hire someone.
Yeah.
It's a different world.
It's crazy. But then again, like Instagram and all that social media is sometimes going way too far. There's no control of it. Yeah.
It's interesting. Go ahead.
Yeah. No.
No, I was going to say, like, for some of the castings now, they want to know your social media handles and different things like that comes into effect because producers want to know that you already have an audience to the show, and you're like, well, maybe I'd have an audience if I was on your show. Oh
yeah, we've done commercials and music videos where we had the request from the production to basically find an actress that had as many followers on Instagram as possible.
Okay.
But of course, then the higher the followers, the more expensive the actress will be. So they basically put out a budget of okay, we have this much budget for the actress, and we actually had to do a casting of just going through this website with actresses and influencers, and basically find how high followers we could actually get for that money, because they thought if they have her acting in this music video, she will post it on Instagram, and that would make another boost for the music video, and it didn't go as well as they wanted to go, because it was just social media, and you just might have a big spike, very quick one, and then it's gone, because they're immediately starting to posting their new purses and new hotels or spas they're going to. Exactly. And that's going to override what they did like 1 week ago. Yeah. So yeah, but using that followers is it can be done in a good way.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well.
Yeah.
I have a question coming through, which is pretty timely. Do you think movies will continue to be released in theaters, or will the process of viewing be changed this year? Netflix screenings are being considered for award season, even.
There will be. For example, like in Iceland, we've opened up this almost every company you can actually. We opened swimming pools yesterday, so the only thing that is not open are the gyms, which we really miss, and then bars that don't sell food. That's basically the only companies that are not open yet in Iceland. So they are opening the theaters again. And I think this is something that will come back very quickly, because they will need, people want to go to the cinema, people want to sit down and have their Coke and popcorn and all that, and that's basically going to always be a bigger revenue than just being pay-per-view on Netflix or anything else. And it's always the contest of having the biggest premiere ever to be on Hollywood strip or whatever. But they will need to, and it will be. They're not going to stop.
I would agree with that, because there's nothing like seeing one of those big like Marvel movies, or even anything with guns or stuff, all those big movies. You have to see them with all the surround sound, and
you just have to see it on that big screen.
Mm-hmm.
Even though if you sit very close to your TV at home, it's not going to be the same.
No. There's not enough speakers in your house to get that.
No, the VR glasses and all that. It's never going to do its justice. So this will come very quickly, and as soon as we get rid of this pandemic, it's going to come quickly back.
Yeah, I can't wait for those days when the pandemic is much like all the other
movies and giving hugs. Going to movies and giving hugs. That's it's one thing that I know that many people miss. I miss giving hugs and being close to people.
Now, are you quarantined alone? Are you there with family, or what's your scenario like?
There is the Iceland never
not quarantined anymore.
No. Yeah. No. Iceland actually never went to quarantine.
Oh,
okay. No. It's we stopped the borders, and everybody, we just did this. People not above. It was not above 20 people. No more than 20 people could be together. Or was it 10 people, then 20 people, and then up to 50 people? But the only people that got quarantined was people that got infected. They were just staying at home.
Okay.
A few of them, only 11 people died in Iceland.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And what do you think attributed to that? Because so many places are starting to reopen, and you guys never really closed. So
no. We had a very good government. They just basically took the right steps in this. They closed everything immediately. We did a lockdown on the country. We had a very strict way of social distancing with everybody. The government came immediately. So if all the companies that have employees, if they have to close down, and if they're like not able to do any jobs, government pays 75% of the wages, and the company only pays 25%. So that will help the company to keep alive, and people can actually get paid without going to work. And I know a lot of people, they have full wages, and they only have to show up for work for maybe 2 hours per day just to keep within these 25%. Wow. So it was all about how Iceland took charge immediately of stopping everything. And also, I'm not going to talk about who is in your country, but it is about testing. We decided to test everybody. We had this very good company in Iceland called Decode, which is the genetic research company in Iceland.
Okay.
So we had this Icelandic healthcare system that started testing as much as they could. And then this company just stepped in and did free testing for the government. And they tested thousands and thousands of people within just a couple of days. They were testing like 1,000 per week in the first week of testing. And when you're only a population of 360,000 people, it doesn't take long to test that many people. So that was what was actually helped us of finding everybody that were infected, quarantine them, and everybody that were around them, quarantine them just to be safe. And so that is what Iceland did best in this.
Wow, that's amazing. The differences you have when you have someone in charge who follows science, I assume, because testing here is almost impossible to get unless you have symptoms, and even then it's impossible.
Yeah.
From what I'm hearing.
Yeah, and one big difference of the U.S. and Iceland is our president. He almost hasn't spoke publicly while this is going on, unless he comes up and just applaud for everybody. He's not interfering with the health system. He's not interfering with the testing. He's not interfering with anything connected to COVID, because we have the health system, we have the law enforcement, we have this 3 people working together, and they are basically in charge of. It's like we have our Dr. Fauci, and he is basically deciding what is best, not our president.
Yeah,
because our president is the president. He's not a doctor. He's not a law enforcement, and he's not in politics except being the president now. So,
right.
Yeah.
You guys are very lucky. Look, can I just move there? Can I be considered a refugee? To get away?
Let's get you to Iceland, make a feature film or whatever. So then you can actually come to Iceland, and then we'll make it a very, 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 very long shooting period of 3 years.
That sounds good. Because I wonder how did that work as far as like schools as well? Are they shut down?
No, God, I have 2 boys. Okay. One is 2 years old, and the other one is 6 years old.
Okay.
And we had a teachers' strike right before COVID. So we were staying at home anyways. So, but then we had like maybe a week before they shut down the country, and they shut down all schools for like sometime, 3 weeks, I think. Okay. And then they started gradually allowing them to be like for 3 days, and they split up like Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And then next week they were Tuesdays, then Thursdays, and they just couple of days. Some school had them for like 3 hours. Some school had them for a full day. Okay. And then slowly that just came back. And 2 weeks ago they started going fully back to school, like a normal day. So, but they're very, very cautious about everything. When I bring my 2-year-old to the kindergarten, he's straight into the room, wash his hands, and then he goes in. No parents are allowed inside except where they take the clothes off or the coats, and then they go inside. And the good thing is after everybody washes their hands and sanitizes and everything keeps like safe, there are almost no like kindergarten flus. There are no fevers. There are no kids are sick because everybody is actually just cleaning their hands. Right. And there are no runny noses going on in the household, because usually they are always getting sick.
Yes. Kids are kind of the carriers of all germs and diseases. I jokingly say.
So in a good way, this is of course kind of a kick in the butt for us to taking everything for granted, and today we need to rethink how we do things. And by seeing what is actually changing now is people are just thinking about taking a little bit better care of themselves and everybody else around them, not just being by themselves, going to the gym and posting everything on Instagram and Facebook. But it's all about like, how are people around me, not just me.
Kind of love that. I hope that sentiment starts over here as well, because I don't know if you noticed, but I live in one of the states where they've been protesting being stuck home, and there's even a shirt. I even hate to say that this exists, but there's a shirt that's going around where it's like a stick figure face with a mask on. It says, "I refuse to be a slave." I mean,
I know.
But I mean, this is also the same area where we have the flat earthers. So I don't know what to do. It's an education problem, I think. But
I know, but and I know it's not my thing to say, but when I saw these a couple of weeks ago, they were protesting in the US and also in other countries. Okay. But they're protesting of closing down everything, and this virus is a hoax. It's just a scam. And they try to say all these things about it's fake, but they're all wearing masks. So if you're not afraid, and if all this virus is fake, why are you wearing a mask? Just take off the mask, give everybody a hug around you, and see what happens.
see, and the thing is, they'll probably be the ones not getting sick, but all the people around them that were taking all the precautions, and you're like, great, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Non-maskers. Now, one of my friends, Goldie Bell, actually, they have basketball players that play over in, I'm not butchering anymore.
Do it. Try it.
Catholic?
Catholic? It's called Keflavik.
Keflavik.
That's actually where we have our international airport.
Oh, okay.
We only have one international airport, actually. We have 1.5. We have a smaller one up north.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're saying that, but for athletes, it's back open for them to come there, but the gyms aren't open.
Yeah.
Okay.
Athletes can come, but normal gyms are still closed.
Well,
But they've started opening up for the athletes. They're playing football, and they have it even like in segments. In places where only X amount of players can be together, and they're being very strict on that as well. So that's a good thing.
I forgot about all the huddles that they do during playing football. Is soccer here, but wow.
Can you imagine trying to play with 6 feet apart all the time?
I mean, if you're really good, they should be chasing you 6 feet behind.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't know how to do penalty kicks because you have to line up for that.
Yeah.
To pick the goalie. I'm trying to think back to my year when I used to play soccer. That's. I mean, I thought I was sad about the idea of that there won't be World Cups moving forward, different things like that. But I didn't even think like on a smaller scale how much that would change things just with the close contact that sports can have.
Yeah.
Still a great entertainment for some. At what cost? You know?
Yeah. I'm actually seeing a very good question from Nicole is.
Yeah. Oh, how
are you staying fit so you're ready for your extreme camera work without the gym?
Okay.
I think basically we have kettlebells at home, and we go out for jogs and we go out for runs, and we just try to be active. And I think that's basically the only thing that we can do because we don't have gyms. But finally now we opened our swimming pools on Monday, so I can take my family for a swim. But otherwise it's just being active. And the good thing about Iceland is because we are such a small population in a very rather large country, so we all have so much space, and we never went on lockdown. So we could always go out, we could run, we could walk in the park, we could go anywhere we liked. So it's a bit different thing of a couple of friends in New York, my friends in New York, they're almost not allowed to go outside. They have to stay inside. Only one person can go outside and just walk to the store and back. And then you just have to go on your rooftop and make a small gym there. That's what they did.
Right.
Yeah.
There was, when this first started, there was like a meme going around for New Yorkers. It was about get a studio. They said you'll never be home anyway. They said, we didn't even think about how, because in New York, we didn't live in. I was a teenager. We didn't live in a studio apartment, but it was a 1-bedroom, and my bedroom was like a pull-out couch. And it was Upper East Side, so it was nice. It was nice size apartment, but it was still only 1 bedroom technically. And I was just thinking like, oh. And I had some friends that parents did live in studios, and it was like a whole family. So it's just, you really learn who to love when you're in such small proximity.
But it was one of the first thing that was actually sold out, while other countries they were hoarding on toilet paper. Icelandic people they hoarded on kettlebells and gym facility things and all that. Everything was sold out.
Wow.
Like in 2 days, when they said they were going to close everything, close a gym, everybody went out to all these stores that we have in Iceland, and they bought kettlebells and these rubber bands and everything that was. They completely emptied the stores.
And
but everyone forgot the toilet paper, I think.
Well, good luck getting it now. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I know here we have issues with toilet paper. Well, pretty much any paper goods, toilet paper, paper towels, and funny enough, on the technology side, it's webcams or anything that you can use to
Yeah,
stream.
yeah,
That's another
yeah.
one that's because I had that issue myself when I was looking for webcams, and I was like, what? Now
Yeah.
everybody wants to.
Yeah, it's amazing how things change very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the toilet paper. I went to Costco in Iceland, and I was looking around, but of course everybody they were buying like these big bulks of toilet paper, and I went like, how do you go through all this? We're just planning on being home for maybe 2 months. Like this big pack is gonna get you through like months and months. Mm-hmm. And also, like, what do people think if you have if you get the coronavirus? Are you just going to be sitting in the toilet, doing number one constantly?
Like, it's not even. Well, I guess there's some of the side effects are type stomach flu type things, which I did not know until recently.
No,
but
that's good.
Yeah,
And then it's always bidet. It's always the shower head thingy that they have in very warm countries. I got to know that in Bangladesh and Mumbai.
Yeah, we had it in Turkey too, bidets.
Oh yeah, and it really does it does it justice. It does its work.
Yeah, I think that was another thing that was low. The home stores, they were selling out of bidets because toilet paper was running out, and so yeah. It's funny because I was like, everybody picked on me when I was talking about I installed my own bidet. I'm like, what do you need a bidet for? Now who's the aha?
Yeah. You go, now you want it. Yeah.
Now wait, so before we were on air, you were also saying that you are now becoming a bread maker. Is there any other hobbies that you've learned or new skills that you've learned while being on quarantine
I think the only skill that I learned in this corona, as well as like 90% of the population in Iceland and most of the world, is making sourdough bread. I just started it like 2 weeks ago, so I'm very new in this. The things that I've done, I built a tree house for my sons in the garden, like up in the tree.
Yeah.
Here at the office, I decided to build the editing suite and basically build myself a castle.
Nice.
Yeah, I can actually just do this and so this is my office, and up here you might see.
Oh wow, it really looks like a castle. I was not prepared for that. I thought you were just saying,
No.
Wow, so that's your new editing room.
Yeah, it's basically like this.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. Sorry about grabbing the computer and showing off.
Oh no, that's neat. That's the joys of mobile and being live. You're your own cameraman too. Wow, that's so neat. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So any other things you have planned to make before, I guess, getting on your next production coming up, or?
We are in the production, in the preparation of 2 feature films that we are going to be shooting in the summer and next fall and winter. Otherwise, we have a couple of commercials and projects that are going, and they're just waiting until they can actually travel to Iceland. And so that is the only thing that they're waiting for, it's when they can actually come. And of course, the industry changed drastically over this period of time where they were planning on coming to Iceland. We were in pre-production for commercials and music videos and photo shoot and features and all that, and then suddenly everything stopped. So it's not, even though like we're opening up, it's the waiting game when they can actually also arrive.
Now, I know earlier you were mentioning how the government was paying 75% for people that worked in companies. How does that work for film professionals? Do they look out for their freelancers as well, or is that over the population?
The good thing is, like most of the freelancers in Iceland, they have their own entity that is taken care of. So you basically create your own company, and then you have that company do all the invoices, and you're your own self-employee. And so they can actually use that company to get that 75% from the government if they've been, because the government took like, how has your wages been for the last 3 months before we close down? And so they do that calculation. And so people that are their own employees, they got that. But then again, some of the freelancers that have only been freelancing, they actually had to just go on benefits for that period of time, and they didn't get the same amount. So it's hard for some people.
Yeah, no, I can only imagine, because I know I didn't qualify or haven't qualified yet for unemployment since this has started, and I'm like,
Yeah.
good thing my husband's still working, because he in big trouble. Yeah, but I mean, normally my money is more for vacations and camps anyway, and different things with our daughter. And I'm like, well, it's not like she's going to any of those things anyway, because everything's virtual still.
Yeah.
And I don't know when or if hotels will open up, or any places we were planning on vacationing this summer, if they're going to be opening up. So
it's all gonna come. It's called. I don't even have words for it. We have no idea how it's gonna be, but I want to be very positive and say that it's gonna come very quickly. It's all gonna be better. It's very good for the nature. Planet Earth had a few months of resting, less pollution. Trees are growing, so it's good for everybody.
Yeah, I would agree with that, because
Yeah.
they were even saying that it set back so many of the different pollution issues and so on, with whether it was the ocean or the air, and just seeing the clear pictures my friends have posted from LA, because I lived in LA for several years, and you would never see the sky as clear as some of the pictures that I've seen recently. And just seeing things like that, I think the first time I started crying, because I was just like, if nothing else, nature is rebuilding itself, and maybe we'll be more appreciative of her future as far as like using plastics and different things. Just realize.
I hope that will be the case.
Yeah.
I'm going to be very sad, and I know a lot of people will be very sad when everything opens up again, and then suddenly within a month you'll have that pollution cloud again, and everything will be back as it was. But I hope it will open people's eyes, and people actually don't take things for granted.
Yeah, I know I will not take hugs for granted, like you mentioned earlier.
No.
Because when this first started, my husband, he's a UPS driver, so we were all very concerned, and there was always this, it could be transferred through boxes and different things. So like for the first month, we didn't touch each other, we didn't hold hands, we didn't hug, nothing. And so when we first were able to, I think I started crying, because I was just like, I've been missing hugs, because my daughter and I, we were quarantined together, so we hugged each other, but like adult size, where I could feel small for someone else. It made the whole day in that sense. So I really hope that people are more appreciative of each other, as well as the planet moving forward. And I cannot thank you enough for being my guest today and making the time to be all the way in America with me.
Yay! Thank you very much for everything.
Oh, no, it was my pleasure. And Sense8 was my favorite show, one of my favorite shows. My mom and I would watch it religiously. And I just have to ask, since you worked on it, with the way it ended, because I haven't watched, because I'm just too scared of the ending ruining it, do you think it gave it justice to the show?
I think
my own personal selfish reasons, because I don't I'm scared to watch it.
For me, it did. It really did.
Okay.
Yeah. Just watch the ending. Just finish the series, and yeah.
Because it was like 2 years later they released the finale or the final movie, and I was just like, I don't know, I'm scared, because Dexter ended horribly, True Blood ended horribly, and even Game of Thrones ended horribly, to a point where I regretted so much time I had invested in it and could have just enjoyed it more.
That's true. That's
true.
No, but Sense8 did it very good.
Oh, good. Well, that's what I'll be doing the rest of the day. It's catching up on Sense8, because it was such a different way of filming, and just so interesting how they would just switch bodies. If you guys have not watched Sense8, now's a good time to stream it because you have the time. For those that are still home, I would highly suggest it. I might just start all over and then watch the ending too.
I think that will be a very good thing for you, because it's like probably like some time ago since you watched it and didn't finish it. I would start all over again and just go through it all.
Sounds like a plan, because we did that with Game of Thrones. We watched it all over before the last season, and then for it to end the way it did, I was like,
I haven't seen Game of Thrones.
Don't waste your time. Not even worth it now. Not even worth it. Too much time invested. And plus, every time we would suggest it to people, or we would suggest it to people all the time, and then when we looked it back, like, because it's different when you have a week in between each episode, but when you watch it all back to back to back, you're just like, wow, we told people to watch this. I wonder what they think about us, because there's some really violent and there's just some really stuff where you're just like, I wonder what they thought about us suggesting this.
The only thing I've just seen glimpse of it, but I haven't had the time to do it. But I want to watch it, but I need to have. And maybe I should have started watching it when Corona started.
Well, it's too late now. No, I'm kidding. Well, I mean, the actors are phenomenal, and the scenes. It's a beautifully set movie. It's really well done as far as, like, for you watching as an editor and video and camera operator, like, you probably would love it, especially since some of it was filmed in Iceland as well. But don't get too connected with it. Don't get too connected. Don't expect too much. It's still just for entertainment. We have the books, and I guess I'll have to be forced to read it at some point. But anyway. Oh, it's 3:02. See, time fly. Well, 7:02 for you. Well, thank you again so much for being on the eSpot and for sharing so much about Iceland and filming and even the politics of it all. Because
thank you for having me.
It was my pleasure, and I'll have to have you back on once things have changed, just to see how things have updated and how your filming's going. Well,
would love to
filming.
Would love to. And then you bring your husband to Iceland as soon as you can.
Yes, a whole family trip.
Yeah.
My daughter loves snow and ice, so I'll probably have to bring them during the winter.
Iceland, Northern Lights, January or even December. You can see the fireworks and all that.
Oh, great. Well, come in January. That's my birthday. 24
hours of no daylight.
Oh.
Almost. No, it's like in December and January, you have like 4 hours of daylight.
That has to be tricky with filming. I guess
it is, but we still film. We film. Doesn't matter, because in the wintertime, when you have that short daylight, it's constant golden hour. It's constant twilight. So you have that beautiful light that comes from just from starting of the day to the end of the day.
So
like with now,
like it's time. That's so amazing.
Yeah, like now it's 7 o'clock in Iceland, and the sun is shining completely in through my window now.
So this time of year is the perfect time for golden light. Just so I write that.
This time is getting almost. It's very soon to going to 24 hours of daylight. Oh, wow. We have a solstice in Iceland where the sun doesn't go down.
Well, I mean, I guess you always grew up with that, but how do you handle that with kids? Like just bedtime? Like, no, it's time to go to bed.
That is the hardest thing, because when you tell your kids, okay, it's time to go to bed, they look outside, they go like, it's sunny.
Yeah.
For example, now my sons are gonna go to bed in about 1 hour, and it's gonna be sunlight until 10 o'clock tonight. Wow. Yeah. And the strangest thing is, when you come to Iceland, if you come at summertime and you go downtown late at night in the summertime, and you go into a club, and it's like sun shining, you go inside, you spend like 3-4 hours in there, and then you come back out, and it's still sun in the middle of the night.
Sounds like
that really, really fucks up your mind sometimes.
Oh wow, I forgot about that. So that's interesting. I'll have to do.
We'll do that next chat.
Absolutely.
We'll talk about the weather next time.
Like, I'm gonna try again. Thank you so much again, Buí Baldvinson. Oh, Baldvinson.
Baldvinson. It's like a Baldwin. Like I like Baldwin. So, but it Baldvinsson. My father's name is Baldwin, so I'm the son of Baldwin. That's why I say Baldvinsson.
Oh, I get that. Oh, that's neat.
Yeah,
Different countries and cultures is so fascinating. So, what is your wife's last name?
Pálsdóttir.
Oh, so completely different.
Yeah,
And
because
will it be
her
Baldwin?
name is Sigga Pálsdóttir,
Okay.
because her father is Paul, so she is the daughter of Paul, so it's Paul's daughter.
And so then your
And like
kids are.
my kids are Buason.
Listen, I guessed right. Oh, that's so neat.
Yeah.
Except for very male dominated, but very neat. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, but you can also choose to have your mother's last name. So if I wanted to be Helga son, because my mother's name is Helga,
Okay.
I would be the son of Helga, so I would be Buí Helgason.
Wow.
So, for example, what's your father's name?
Dwight.
Dwight. So you would be Camille Dwight daughter.
Ah. That's really neat. Who knew? That's
Yeah.
very fascinating. I'm gonna have to look up more about Iceland culture. This is really, I've learned so much from you today.
Good.
Well, thanks again for being my guest. This is amazing. You're a true hero.
Thank you very much, and so are you.
Oh, thank you. Well, again, thanks for being on today, and
You
we
too.
look forward to seeing all of your work on the big screen soon.
I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, have a good one. Cheers.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. Wow, I learned so much today. I get so fascinated about culture and just different things, how they're done, and just to learn so much, not only about what's going on in filming, but also just Icelandic, just how their names are even brought up. That was really neat to me. I don't know how it was for you guys, but so much fun. And speaking of fun, at 6 o'clock, Guy Torrey will be on the E Spot with me. Cannot wait for you guys to talk with him. He's going to talk to us about his comedy kitchen, Taco Tuesdays, his Fat Tuesdays from back in the day. The guy loves Tuesdays. Is today Tuesday? I think it is. Or it's someday within a week. Yes, 2 for Tuesday, because I have 2 people today, Tuesday. Yes, it's Tuesday. I had to double check myself over here in on my information side. But anyway, make sure you share, like, and tell your friends to come watch the E-Spot, because why leave me the best kept secret? You guys know you enjoy it. So will your friends. And we learn so much. And you guys ask great questions. And I love being able to not only ask my questions, but if you have questions too, this is your time. Like, when else will you get to talk to someone who is a movie producer, a film producer in Iceland, except for at the E-Spot? So come on down, share with your friends, tell your mama, tell your brother, tell somebody. And I'll see you at 6 o'clock. Thanks again. Awkward time.